Well, my husband was a pastor in New England, and his bishop was a guy named James K. Matthews. And so my husband got into a lot of trouble with his church because he thought the church should be doing things which the church wasn't doing. And Bishop Matthews phoned one day and said, what's your story? I'm hearing lots of stories. What's your story of what's going on? And so Bill laid out, objectively, theoretically, what was happening. And Bishop Jim said, well, it seems to me like something creative is going on there and some changes are coming about, and I'm not going to move you. And that was sort of a shocker. And then he, about 6 months or so later, he said, you know, my brother gives a course called a PLC. And there's going to be one in Boston. It's not far from you, and why don't you come up? In fact, why don't the two of you come up? And we said, well, we got 3 little kids. We can't just leave them, certainly not with our congregation. So Bill went up and came back very excited and said I had to go to a PLC or an RS1. And I was at that point 7 months pregnant, and I was about the size that you were shortly before your children were born, your twins were born. And people were scared to death of my going in there. They said, what are we doing? She has to. But anyway, I took the RS1 and I thought, ho hum, I've heard all this stuff before. I've studied Bonhoeffer, I've studied Bultmann, I've studied Tillich. I haven't studied Niebuhr, but I think he's a good man. So I have nothing against it. And by the next year, Bill was really fed up with the church because they made life very, very difficult for him. And so when Bishop Jim suggested he go for a year to Chicago, I said, okay, we'll go next June when our 4th baby is 6 months old, and we'll take all these kids, which was quite an ordeal, to put it mildly.